Well, spring is very, very slow in coming here, considering it is April 28th, and we got 3 inches of snow yesterday morning on April 27th, and it's all melted, but, I mean, the grass is green, but I'm probably at least a week and a half from even being able to get a tractor in the yard to mow, or a mower in the yard to mow. Most likely it'll be this 455. But I went to the dealer and ended up with, let's see here, ended up with $253 in parts before tax. One important thing I would note is we can take $34 off of that from a V-belt that I bought for bagger for the 318, which that'll be in a future video. But what I get, so got 2 rear wheels for the jack, for the 2 rear caster wheels. In this particular case, these are kits. These are wheel kits. They're $31.75 a piece. If you can look over here, I've got my list over here. So these actually come as kits. They're easy. Well, they come as kits or individual wheels. The kits are easier to buy than the wheels themselves, or cheaper to buy. This wheel right here is the front wheel, front caster. So it's for this one right here, the one that wobbles. So replace that. Got new blades. What's the part number on the blade? I can't remember. M141785. So got those. Got my washers for the wheels. Got my front caster. M115245. Got my 2 front wheels, and then all of the hardware that I need to replace on the deck itself. Some of these are for, well, this one is for this bolt, and then these 2 are for the caster wheels there. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I have the deck up in the air. It's very windy today, so I can't do this outside. Normally I would have everything farther out towards the garage door. But the first thing I'm going to do is going to go ahead and pull all the bolts back out of the spindles. I'm going to get those cleaned up, and then we can put the blades on. So blades are pretty easy to put on. I just use an air impact. You can use whatever you want. Recently, I saw a question on Facebook. I haven't talked much about social media, but I do frequent Facebook, and I saw somebody asking a legitimate question about time and blades. If I can ever get in this box. You do not need to time blades unless it is a geared system or a cogged system. The blades, because of belt slippage, will not line up. It was a legitimate question. A lot of posters were giving somebody a hard time for asking the question, which I just think is, I think for somebody to give somebody a hard time over asking a question that seems, in my mind, somewhat legitimate, it's kind of a stupid move, for lack of a better word, and to be a little bit more politically correct than I normally am. But here are the blades. I'll talk about putting them on. Nice new blades, M141785. So 3 of them. All total, they were $69.48. That's the list price on them. So that was at my dealer. You probably get them cheaper online with shipping, free shipping or whatnot. But it's something I pass a Deere dealer coming to and from work, so it's easy to stop in there. So let me get these bolts off, and then we'll put the new blades on, and then we'll put the deck up on the sawhorses here, and we'll do everything else. We'll replace all the wheels and whatnot. All right, time to put some blades on. So I cleaned up the bolts, and so I'm just going to go ahead and also I took the cups off. I don't even know what you call those things. I took the cups off to clean those out. They had a little bit of grease in them. Pardon me. Forgot the impact gun. So now what I'm going to do is, these are 24 millimeter bolts right here, and these are special washers. I see a lot of people on various sites asking if they can substitute these washers and or bolts. Not something I would recommend personally. I do realize that this is probably, I think between the two, like 20 bucks or so. So not exactly cheap. Make sure that your blades are the correct direction. You want this tip down. And what I'm going to do is you just put the blade on here like that. It's going to sit on the mandrel. And then you can just tighten it up by hand. I like to make sure that you can tighten it by hand. And generally it's going to stop somewhere in there where you can't tighten it by hand. I'm just going to let it sit there for a few minutes. I'm going to do the other two. The reason I do that is do it by hand instead of directly, just starting off with just tightening it up, is that sometimes if there's something like caught in there, what can happen is you'll either ruin your bolt or you will ruin your spindle. Now this one right here, this one has been tight every time I've taken it in and out. I've tried to clean it up. It just seems a little off. So, but I don't see anything nefarious in there. And then our last one, see if you can see it on camera. Put our cup on there. Like I said, make sure your blade's pointed the right way. I've done that. Come on now. I just test fit this in here. Not 30 seconds before I started this video. And it was just fine. I don't know what's happened now. All right, well, I'm gonna see, actually we'll keep the video going. See if I can figure out what's wrong here. I don't know. All right, let me go figure out what's wrong with this spindle, and I'll come back and I'll tell you. I have no earthly idea what the problem was. I got it to go in there once, and then I took it back off, put the blade on, and now it's just perfectly fine. I actually ended up taking the other two blades off to make sure there wasn't a problem with the bolts or anything. So now that I've got them all on there, I can go ahead and tighten them up. Now, like I said, I use an air impact. If you don't have an air impact, use a long-handled ratchet. And if you don't have a way to put it up in the air like I have it right here, you can always do it on the ground. You just have to pick it up, and you can just kind of pick it up one side at a time, and it'll be perfectly fine. So let me get these tightened up here. Some people really like to tighten these things on here. I mean, honestly, a short burst with the impact gun is perfectly fine. So there are all three new blades, all in the correct orientation. You do want to make sure that the blades don't hit. I was telling you last time that I tried those other blades that I had, that I can't remember another deck they came off of, but I mean, you can see, you know, they're not going to hit right there. And going back to the timing thing, you can't time blades on decks like this because they will slip. Yep, blades are good to go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it down, and I'm going to pick it up with the forks, and I'm going to set it up on the sawhorses here so we can work on the casters. The reason I'm not going to leave it up on the front end loader like this is because the front end loader does leak down over time, and I need a little bit more stable work area, so that'll be fine. So here we go. All right, so it's up on the stands, and I think what I'm going to do is, just due to time, I'll actually break this into 2 videos, since I think this replacing the deck casters is going to take a little bit, and probably worthy of its own 10-minute video. So, got the blades replaced, and we will go from there. So, thanks for watching.